Russia's top opposition leader says his attorney-client privilege has been revoked, but his jailers won't tell him why. Alexei Navalny is serving more than 11 years in a maximum security prison for charges he calls politically motivated. But in a recent Facebook post, he said prison officials told him he's using his lawyers to commit crimes from behind bars. They wouldn't tell him which crimes, but they still limited his communications with his legal team. Navalny's Twitter account also says he's now back in solitary confinement for a fourth time in a little over a month. Well, for more, we're joined by Vladimir Ashurkov, who is also a Russian dissident and a Navalny Associate, and he's speaking with us from London. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Great to be with you.
So, with dissent growing within Russia and increasing calls for the resignation of Vladimir Putin, his biggest critic, Alexei Navalny, is back in the spotlight, saying Russia has revoked his attorney-client privilege and placed him in solitary confinement for the fourth time in a month, shutting down his right to speak with his family. What is going on here, and why is this happening now?
Indeed, until recently, an attorney was visiting Navalny almost every weekday, and they would spend an hour or two, and he would write his handwritten notes to his family, to our team, read materials that we would pass. And recently, despite the law, the Russian law that allows communications with attorney, these privileges have been revoked. Navalny from prison has been coordinating a number of projects. One is smart voting, another one is a sanctions list that we propose to Western governments. So I think the Russian authorities decided to stop this trickle of communication that has been going on because of this. I think another factor is, of course, Ukrainian successes on the battlefield, which probably make Russian authorities feel quite embattled.
And of course, jailed Russian opposition leader Navalny was previously able to communicate with the outside world through his attorney, allowing him to remain active in Russian politics until now. And this restricted access to his attorney came a day before Russians started voting in a regional and municipal election or elections. So what impact has Navalny already had on those elections, do you think? Do you know?
We have this system of smart voting where our team selects candidates who are most likely to beat the candidates that are put forward by the party of power, by the Russian authorities. And it has been successful over the last few years. Of course, this year, after the Russians' brutal invasion in Ukraine, elections have been subdued. Independent candidates it was very difficult for them to get on the ballot, but still we were able to make a difference in a number of municipal elections in Moscow. So about 70 candidates that were supported by us were elected to municipal councils. And that may also be one of the factors why the Russian authorities decided to clamp down on Navalny's access to the outside world.
Yes, I was going to ask you whether you worry that they are trying to shut him down, and maybe, are you concerned that this might be a more long-term situation where he may not get his attorney-client privilege back? Is that a concern for you?
We don't know. Russia is not exactly a rule of law country, especially since the war started. Many oppressive laws have been put in place, and almost all Russian opposition figures that remain in Russia have been either pushed out of the country or put into the jail. So we don't know how long this he will not have this privileges, this communication. And Navalny, since the start of the war, has been a voice against the war, against the tyranny of Putin. Despite the harsh conditions of Russian prison, he was sending his voice against the war, and we were seeing tweets from him on a regular basis through these attorney communications. Now, this link to Navalny will likely to be broken.
And what do you think will happen to Navalny's appeal against his 9-year sentence received in March this year in a case widely viewed as politically motivated?
Indeed, his incarceration is unlawful and politically motivated. When he was put in jail in January 2021, we had no doubt that he will be put there. He will be in jail until Putin stays in power. At the same time, we see that the Russian authorities, their grip on power, I think, is loosening because of very unsuccessful war in Ukraine.
Vladimir Ashurkov, thank you so much for talking with us. We appreciate it.